And today is something special with our exercises. Each group, now I will divide you into group 1, group 2, and group 3. And other members in your group will be your teammates. You are going to cooperate with each other to complete today's exercise. All right? Okay. Now I'm going to open my PowerPoint file because there is 100 slides for today's SGD, so it takes a little time, 3 seconds I think. This I broke up. There's around 3 years after I bought this computer, so I think please move faster. And oh. Here you can see a slide here, but I can't see my slide on my computer. So. Okay, hi, I'm Richard, the instructor of SGD2 slide design today. And first, there comes the question is, why we should know how to make a good slide? That's a question. But it was a question quite difficult for me to answer until last year. This man shows up. The goal of this SGD is to prevent you from making this kind of slide full of words that we can see clearly. And you may ask, should we always use big pictures like this? I would say big pictures sometimes work, sometimes they're good, but it depends. Depends on what? That is what I'm going to tell you during today's SGD. And in today's SGD, there are 3 points. So there are so many useful tips around the world for making a good slide, but I'm going to conclude all of them into 3 sections in today's SGD. Only 3 points that can make your slide better. And we just checked that all of you can get to this website, and I've put some materials you may need and the exercises today on that page. So, all right, I've made sure that all of you can get to that website. So let's start our SGD. All right. The section 1, the concept of effective information. This is the first point that I conclude all the tips I have heard, and that is also the most important part of today's SGD. If you can realize this session, you may easily get lost in the later one. So it's the core idea that I make my own slides. So are you all ready?
Yes.
No? Are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay, I believe in. Let's go. During your presentation, we convey tons of message to our audience. And let me just use these black little squares to represent these messages. It may be your lines, your script, or your body movements. Among all these messages, some of them have logic connection, and they stick to the goal of your speech. I'd like to define this kind of messages as the information. This one is called the information. And on the other hand, if these messages didn't have logic connection and they didn't stick to your goal, I would like to divide these kinds of messages as the noise. As the noise. So until now, we've divided all the messages into 2 groups. One is information, have logic connection with each other, and they stick to your goal. And the other is noise, which don't have logic connection to each other and don't stick to your goal. Is that clear? I've repeated it for so many times because it is the most important concept that I made my slide. Is that all right? Am I clear? Yes. Good. So during your speech, the audience will only get, they will get both the information and the noise. However, interestingly, they will only get the information minus the noise, which is the effective information. If there is any, for example, annoying background music during the SGD, you can hear what I said clearly, just like that, right? So in this scenario, the music is a kind of noise. And in this situation, that will reduce the information you get from it. All you can hear is the effective information. Therefore, the key concept of your presentation is to maximize the effective information. Sounds quite easy, but that's the most important concept in today's SGD. Now, you may want to ask, how to apply this concept to make a good slide? First, we may have our raw materials, and what we should do is to think, is that the information we want to convey to the audience? If yes, then increase the information. But on the other hand, if that is a kind of noise, we should have to reduce that. And after this process, your slide will be definitely better. But now, I'm going to use an example to demonstrate how I use this concept, how I use this process to make slides better. Now here comes the example. Here it is. What's wrong with this slide? I know that's totally a mess, but can you tell me where is the noise in this slide? Did anyone have any idea they want to share with others?
Too many colors.
Too many colors, good. Too many words, also good. But words sometimes is a kind of information that depends on how many they want to convey. Other answers? All right. Among all these slides, I observed at least 4 points. The first one I observed is the colorful background. Does it have logic connection with each other, with other materials? No. Does that colorful background stick to the goal of the presenter? No, I don't think so. So this is a very typical noise that I have seen among so many slides. The colorful background. And the next one I observed is about the alignment, which is 对齐 in Chinese. These words go up and down. Is that help us realize the content of this slide? Go up and down. No, I don't think so. And the third one is the reflections of these pictures. Reflections means 倒影 here. They can help us know more about the contents as well, so that is also a kind of noise. And the last point is the different fonts. Fonts means 字体 in Chinese. Are these two fonts represent two different kinds of information? No, I don't think so. How about we eliminate all these noise? How will the slide become? The slide will become like this. Is that better? A little bit better, right? You'll find that only through reducing all the noise, the slide become more, not beautiful, but at least more clear, right? And you may say, the words are too small for you to see that clearly. Okay, let me just focus on this part, the left and upper part of the slide, and let me put it into full screen scale like this. Slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, and slide 4. Through dividing the slide into 4 pieces, then you can focus on the theme. Focus on one thing at one time. Gradually show your details and force your audience to focus on the thing you are going to talk about. So only through reducing the noise, you can make the slide far better. And after divide the slide into 4 pieces, you can make sure that your audience can get both the overview of your content and the detail respectively. And that's my example to demonstrate how I use the concept of effective information to make slides better. Alright? So again, now you realize the power of effective information. When you are making slides, you start from here. But through your intuition, you may eventually make this kind of slide. But with the concept of effective information, you can go straight forward to the better slide. Not only better, but also save your time. Because you won't spend your time on those notes. So again, the core idea of making slides is to maximize the effective information, to increase the information and reduce the noise. That's all I want to say in the first part of this SGD. Everyone get that? Okay, great. I see you are nodding. That's a good phenomenon. Okay, and that's the end of this part 1. It was a small part, but I independently divided into 1 part because that's so important. It's the core idea for how I make my own slide. Okay, because the time is a little bit delayed, so let's just go for part 2, how to deal with pictures. I'd like to give you 3 ways to deal with them. These 3 ways are full screen skill, direct the visual flow, and use shades to covering the colorful backgrounds. Let me use this slide to demonstrate how I use these 3 tips to fix a slide. For example, you may have this kind of slide with a topic, some words here, and a picture, just like what you draw in the warm-up session, right? Because this picture, and in your example that is iPad Air 2, right? It may be a kind of important information for us. So when it comes to information, we want to increase the information. So I would like this picture as big as possible. So why not just put it into full screen scale like this? That's tip 1. And next, you will find that those words falls behind the head of that person. Think about, if that person is a candidate, does that mean that he didn't care about his policy? Yes, he cares. So he should look at the words. And that's how we manage the position of picture and words to direct the visual flow. And the last tip is to use shades to cover the colorful background. Shade in Chinese, I think it is something like 遮罩 or 面具 like that. Sometimes it's quite difficult for you to put words on the colorful backgrounds. And at this time, shades may help you. This shade is actually a semi-transparent white rectangle, which is 半透明长方形. We use shades to cover the colorful backgrounds, and we put the words on the shade. So that's a way to deal with colorful background it's difficult for you to put words on that. So again, these 3 tips: full screen scale, direct the visual flow, and use shades to cover the background. Okay, now I prepared exercise A for you. Please go to the website and check the exercise A.